He didn't lose to a bowler. He didn't lose to a batsman. Ricky Ponting lost the Ashes to a single decision he made before a ball was even bowled. 2 runs. That's the margin that ended 18 years of Australian dominance. A stray cricket ball on an empty outfield. A torn ankle ligament. And a captain who looked at it and decided it changed nothing. Ponting had the numbers in his hand. Buchanan's stats said bowl first at Edgbaston, win the match. 12 of the last 13 tests here had gone exactly that way. So when his best bowler limped off the ground hours before the toss, Ponting didn't blink. He trusted the spreadsheet over the sideline. What happens when a captain trusts history over the man standing right in front of him? August 2005. Lords had just finished. Australia crushed England by 239 runs, and Glenn McGrath took his 500th Test wicket in the process, celebrating the milestone in a pair of garish gold boots. On paper, this was the same story continuing. Australia arrived at Edgbaston as the untouchable champions, 16 years unbeaten in Ashes series, the most feared touring side in the sport's history. England arrived needing something close to a miracle just to stay competitive. The mood inside both camps could not have been more different. Australia's players spoke to the press with the calm certainty of a team that had already won. English journalists, meanwhile, were openly asking whether this series would even go the distance, or whether it would be another one-sided procession like so many before it. McGrath wasn't just Australia's best bowler. He was the reason England's batting order had nightmares for a decade. Since the early 1990s, he had been the one constant that turned close contests into routs, metronomic, relentless, almost surgical in how he dismantled top-order batsmen one by one. English batsmen didn't fear Australia's pace attack in general. They feared him specifically. Without him, Australia's attack was still dangerous. With him, it had been suffocating for 10 straight years. Then came the morning of the second test. Hours before the toss, in a casual warm-up game of rugby on the outfield, a routine the Australians didn't normally follow before a match, but did that day. McGrath stepped on a stray cricket ball lying in the grass. His ankle buckled underneath him. Ligaments torn, bone damage confirmed. He was carted straight off the outfield and taken to hospital for a scan. Australia's spearhead, the bowler who had haunted England for the better part of a decade, was gone before the match had even started. Not injured mid-game. Not rested for tactical reasons. Gone, by accident, in the warm-up. This should have changed everything. A captain who loses his most dangerous weapon hours before a test typically rethinks the entire game plan from the ground up. Bowl first without McGrath, and you're no longer relying on the bowler who built his career on discipline and control. You're relying on Brett Lee's raw pace, Shane Warne's spin, and a supporting attack to somehow replicate what McGrath alone had done for years. But Ponting didn't rethink anything. He barely paused. He won the toss. Edgbaston's recent history was screaming one message at anyone willing to listen: whoever bowls first here wins. 12 of the previous 13 matches at this ground had gone to the side that chose to insert the opposition. John Buchanan, Australia's analytics-driven coach, had built the team's entire tactical philosophy around exactly this kind of statistical pattern. Trust the data, ignore the noise. So Ponting sent England in to bat, without McGrath. On a pitch that, despite days of rain in the build-up, turned out drier and flatter than almost anyone expected. The moisture Ponting had assumed would be there simply wasn't. England knew exactly what had just happened, and they knew exactly what to do with it. Michael Vaughan had told his batsmen one thing before the toss: regardless of the result, whatever happens, attack from ball one. Marcus Trescothick didn't wait around to see if Ponting's gamble would pay off. He went after Brett Lee from the third over of the innings, carving 3 boundaries off a single over. Andrew Strauss joined the assault, deliberately targeting Warne the moment the great spinner came into the attack, refusing to let him settle into a rhythm. By lunch, England were already dominant, scoring at a rate no one expected against this attack. By the end of the day, They had done something no team had managed against Australia since 1938. They had scored over 400 runs on the very first day of a Test match. Kevin Pietersen and Andrew Flintoff both scored rapid half-centuries in that innings. Even Warne, one of the greatest bowlers the game has ever produced, finished the day with figures he'd rather forget, having been targeted relentlessly by batsmen under strict instructions to take him down. Without McGrath's control and probing lines to anchor the attack, there was no brake pedal for Australia's bowlers. England were eventually bowled out for 407, but the damage was already done. The gamble had cost Australia the initiative of the entire match before a single Australian bat had even come out to play. Australia fought back hard, as champions do. Warne took 6 wickets in England's second innings, turning the ball more sharply as the pitch wore. Andrew Flintoff produced one of the great overs in Ashes history, removing Ponting for a duck in a spell that swung momentum violently. But the deficit created on that first day never fully closed. Chasing what should have been a manageable target in the final innings, Australia's lower order fought with extraordinary courage, dragging their side agonizingly close to an improbable win, but not close enough. 2 runs. The narrowest margin cricket allows in a Test match short of an actual tie. And it traced back, almost every commentator agreed afterward, to one single moment before a ball was bowled. A captain looking at his injured strike bowler and deciding it simply didn't matter. Shane Warne himself later called it a shocker of a decision, arrogance, in his own words, refusing to let Ponting believe England could actually play well. He wasn't wrong. That single test became the hinge point of the entire series. England went on to win the Ashes for the first time in 18 years, a result that reshaped the balance of power in world cricket for the rest of the decade. Ponting didn't lose the Ashes at Edgbaston because Australia played badly on the day. He lost it because he trusted a spreadsheet more than the sight of his best bowler being stretchered off the ground hours earlier. The numbers said bowl first. The moment in front of him said something else entirely. And the moment